Hi, I'm comic book writer Marv Wolfman coming to you from Titan's Tower. Catch me later today on DC Daily.
Welcome to DC Daily. I'm Sam Levine, and joining me once again is the new Teen Titans and Crisis on Infinite Earths writer and living legend, Marv Wolfman. Marv, welcome back to the show.
Hey, I'm thrilled to be here, Sam. Thank you for asking me.
Oh, please, we'd ask you every day if it were up to me. Marv, how are you doing in quarantine?
I think I was born for quarantine. My entire career has been sitting in an office, writing by myself, not letting anyone talk to me while I'm working, and then go home. So nothing has changed whatsoever.
And so you prefer that? That's what if you had your choice, that's what you'd rather do?
Yeah, I can't work when there's any noise going on. So what I try to do is keep it as quiet as possible. The door is closed. No one comes in. Everyone knows the rules. So it's pretty good.
I'm very impressed. So now that we are in our homes and you're very comfortable there, any chance you're taking up any new hobbies while you're there?
No, I've been actually just trying to get all my work on time and failing miserably. It's we are in the middle of a plague. We're in the middle of all this stuff, so it's not always easy to concentrate. The most I think we've done is just some jigsaw puzzles.
I've accomplished absolutely nothing myself, so it makes me happy to know that someone like you is also going, no, I'm just trying to keep up with work. So that, thank you for that.
Just do what I do.
Much appreciated. Any chance you're going back and reading any DC comics, anything old? You're reading anything new?
The only book I've been reading to any level, any degree, would probably some of Tom King's work. I like what he's doing. Most of the books I read are really because I'm writing a Wonder Woman story. I'm writing a Batman story, so I want to keep up and figure out what they're doing right now. So if I'm doing something, I'll use the books for research. I don't get to read an awful lot just for fun, unfortunately.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that this is allowing you maybe a little more time to get to hopefully do that. So, all right, now let's talk about the big thing. Let's talk about Crisis on Infinite Earths.
I've heard of it.
What was it like for you to see this story adapted for TV?
You know, if you asked me a year ago, what is the least likely story I've ever written that would become a TV show, Crisis would have been it. It had 15,000 characters. It is so continuity driven, the original comic. I never thought anyone would do it. And not only did they do it, they did it really well. I could not believe how well it came out. Yeah, I worked on writing one of the episodes, and I appear very briefly in one of them. But me aside, the job they did was incredible. No television show has ever done anything like what they've done. They even used the logo. Wow, what are they doing? It was pretty shocking.
As you mentioned, you were also in it. You had a fantastic cameo. I was thrilled to see. I know all the fans in the world were thrilled to see. What was it like for you shooting that scene with The Flash and Supergirl?
Oh, it was very scary. I got the script and I started practicing it, and I could never get it right. I kept using the wrong words. Instead of legends, I would say legion, thing like that. I was positive I was going to destroy this forever. But the one time I did it correctly was on camera. And both Melissa and Grant were great. They were wonderful to deal with. They made it a little bit easier for me because of that.
It was an absolute joy to see
Thank you
there.
I really did love it once it was over.
Great. All right, so let's get into the meat of this. What changes to the story did you enjoy seeing on the shows that were, as you know, not quite the same in the comics?
Well, I enjoyed seeing how they took all the major scenes with the standard DC characters and convert them over to the Arrowverse characters. That was pretty amazing. I wasn't sure they'd be able to do that. I knew they could write them, but I didn't think all the characters would work out well, and they did. Because all the major beats from the original Crisis comic are actually in the 5 episodes. They're just handled slightly differently. So they did a wonderful job, and you could see the love for the material that they had just talking to them.
Absolutely. No, I remember trying to remember everything from the comics as I was watching each episode, thinking, oh, nope, they got that. Nope, they got that too. So now I have to ask, is there anything from the original story that you wish had made it into the final cut? I know I've got something, but I'm curious what you have.
So many of the things that I was surprised by, for instance, we used Anthro in it, who was the first boy on Earth, and finding that weird tuning fork machine. Now, they weren't going to use Anthro because it's not one of the characters on the CW, but they actually put in that giant tuning fork machine and made it work. And in fact, they called me in a couple months earlier just to talk about Crisis. And one of the questions that the writers had was, what was the purpose of that device? Why did you do it? Why? They were trying to figure out what it was so they can convert it over to the characters and the storylines that they did. But aside from that, they pretty much got everything that I would have loved to have seen. Yeah, not all the characters could be in it. I'm really sorry that they aren't. But then again, look at all the characters they had as cameos. I mean, it's hard to believe.
I've been an actor most of my life, so I love watching other actors and people I haven't seen maybe in a little bit. The amount of DC actors from television and film that they got to come into this thing is, in my opinion, only shows how much everyone knows what a big deal this was.
For me to see the Titans characters who are on a streaming service appear on a network type show is sort of like mind-blowing. Then there was the Doom Patrol. Then there was Smallville, shows that I wouldn't have even thought they would have remembered. It was an astonishing job, and they did it well on top of it.
They certainly did. I just rewatched them again probably last week, and every time I feel like I'm going to wind up rewatching these 5 episodes at least once or twice a year. It was wonderful seeing everyone back. All right, so Marv, you have written so many amazing stories for DC. So here's the big question. Which one would you like to see adapted next for TV? Go ahead, give us your pitch. If I like it, I can make it happen. I have that kind of power.
Great. One of my favorite Titan stories is something called A Pretty Girl is Like a Malady. It's a really character-driven story with a big surprise ending. That's one of my all-time favorites, and I would love to see something like that in there. The one of my characters that I'd really love to see as a TV series is Night Force. That, to me, is probably my best creation. We did 3 different runs for the books, and I liked all of them. It's very dark, very different. It's a great horror series. I think that could work so well. The other one would be, I'd love to see a Deathstroke, a real action thing, like on one of those streaming services where you can really go violent and you can really go dark and sexy and all of that. It would be perfect for Deathstroke.
Those all sound incredible. And like I said, I've got a lot of pull here at DC Universe. Last week, they even gave me a parking space. Well, they showed me a parking space. It's not mine. But you get the idea. I'm moving up in the world. Now, you were just talking about Titans. You were talking about Deathstroke, who we saw this last season on Titans. But I'd love to talk about Titans and Deathstroke and everything that was going on there. But one of your characters finally made his debut on the DC Universe show Titans, Jericho. What did you think of Jericho?
Well, they told me they were going to be doing Jericho. And again, I wasn't sure how they were going to handle him, because he's a very difficult character to make work correctly because he doesn't talk. He's mute. The fact that they found somebody who's hard of hearing who also doesn't talk in the same way because of hearing, I thought he did a great job. He was a character that surprised me, considering all the other ones out there that they would take. I'm glad they used him. I'm glad they picked him out.
Oh, absolutely. Chella Mann is the name of the actor who played Jericho, and spectacularly good. Obviously, Esai Morales was amazing as Deathstroke, Jericho's dad, on this season of Titans. So going all the way back to the comics, what was it like for you writing for that character of Deathstroke?
Deathstroke, he was created at the same time as the Teen Titans, because his son appears in the first issue as a setup for him in the second one. Of course, back then, nobody knew that. One, I wanted to do an older character. I wanted to show that somebody with white hair could be a real good villain. He doesn't have to be a young guy who could beat up everyone. He could be an older guy, and in Deathstroke's case, it worked. He's a character who was created with a lot of layers. He's not your mustache twirling villain. He has relatives, he has friends, he has a life, he has a whole bunch of things outside of his job. Part of it was I never considered him a villain. I considered him a mercenary. And he found himself in a situation he couldn't get out of. The only reason he even ran across the Titans was his son had taken a job and failed, and he had to honor his son's job. So if it wasn't for the fact that his son was such an idiot, he would never have met the Titans. He had no reason to go after the Titans. He couldn't care less about the Titans. So he's caught in a horrible situation for him because this is a violation of what he is.
Oh, I now I have an even deeper appreciation and love for him the way you just described him. And speaking of Deathstroke, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the wonderful cast of DC Daily awarded you the Golden Deathstroke Award the last time you joined us. Oh my goodness! Oh, look at that! I love that it's within arm's length. Yeah. Oh, there we go.
It's usually on the shelf, but I had a hunch. This is a beautiful, for my 50th anniversary as a writer, and most of those have been for DC, all but 8 years. And this was just beautiful. It was such a shock. I was doing the DC Daily, and suddenly Dan DiDio comes in, and I just assumed that he's here to join in on the talk. And they did this, and what a wonderful gift.
Oh, that was, I can't tell you how much joy that brought all of us on set that day to be there for you receiving the Golden Deathstroke Award. So congratulations again. Well deserved.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. All right. So here's a fun question. So we're all stuck at home, got the stay-at-home order, the quarantine, we're all playing it safe. If you had to pick one Titan as a roommate to hang out with during the stay-at-home order, who would it be?
Well, if I say, Wonder Girl, Starfire, Raven, I don't think my wife would like that. And I don't think most of the other characters would work as well. So since I like quiet when I'm writing, Jericho, he wouldn't be bothering me. He wouldn't be chewing my ear off. He'd just be doing whatever he did while I can work in silence, just the way I prefer.
Wow, that is the best possible answer. I'm angry at myself for not thinking of it. I would have gone Beast Boy, just because I like to laugh. He's got the quips.
But he's so annoying.
Marv, thank you so very much. This was so amazing. I cannot thank you enough for logging on with us and coming to talk to us today. You are an amazing, amazing guy. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. This was fun. This is great. I'm so glad that DC is doing this, where we could speak to the people, we could speak to the fans directly, pretty much, and the love for comics can continue even if you can't find them or go out to a store.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much.
Sam, take care. I'm heading back to Titan's Tower.
Bye, Marv. The rest of you out there, if you've never read Marv's Teen Titans or Crisis on Infinite Earths, what is wrong with you? Look, I won't judge you, but you have to go over. They're available right now on DC Universe. Go treat yourself and then reward yourself again with the DC Universe Rewards program. Did you know you can get posters, variant covers, even free months of DC Universe just by reading and watching content? Find out how by heading on over to rewards.dcuniverse.com. As for me, I'll see you next time. Bye for now.